One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals reporting pace his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Wow, legends, we all made it. It is a hump day freaking morning. Great to see everybody in the chat, man. Ladies and gentlemen, we definitely have a big lineup this morning. We have a lot to catch up from yesterday as well to make a lot of things sense today. The way that I have this labeled today is Trump in South Korea, as well as government shutdown day 29, as you guys are well aware of. Israel-Hamas war, we do have some updates over there. A humongous amount of strikes and death and casualty has happened overnight. We'll get to that. And then we have Melissa, which is Hurricane Melissa, makes landfall in Cuba. As you guys know, that we have been watching Hurricane Melissa, and it's tragedy. It is definitely going to be one of these rebuild situations down there. But hey, before we get into all the gnarliness this morning, make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the show, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But here comes the money part. Please consider becoming a member. You know, starting only at $2.99 a month, man. Making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But hey, this is what allows us to keep the lights on and keep us on the freaking on the net, bro. So I appreciate everybody becoming members and staying members. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. We also have a Discord server. Naomi will throw that into the live chat for you guys. For anybody watching on the playback, go down to the link in the description down below. And of course, that is where all the invite shit is. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted membership signups are, of course, going to be presented live onto the show and shut it out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash,
denied.
Well, then we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to. And, of course, I'll read out your donations like as if it's a super chat. And I have my email up. So if anything comes through, of course, I will see it right away. And real quick, before we get into it, we got Sterling Will gifting out a membership this morning, helping me, not only me, but helping someone in the Breakfast Club as well, man. Sterling, I very much appreciate that. Hats off to you, kind sir. Thank you for that. We got Steve Easy for $5, says Straight is a certified torta pounder. I think a lot of us here are too, you know what I mean? But hey, brother Steve Easy, appreciate the $5, man. Thank you very much. All right, let's see who's in the chat. We got Brother Frank in the building, as well as Naomi and Gary. Good morning to you guys. We got Two Wheel Jesus in the building. Shout out to my man. We got Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning. Great to see you in the chat. Happy hump day to everybody. We got Chase in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you, kind sir. Great to see you in the chat, as well as Lappy. Yes, sir. Always appreciate you, sir. Appreciate it. We got Straight Jacket in the building as well. Top of the morning. The motherfucking morning, by the way. Yes, sir. Great to see you. We got Hardwire saying, at least your computer doesn't just randomly shut off on you like mine. No idea what's causing that. It's a total loss. Here's the one thing that I would say. on a last ditch attempt before you do what you said you were going to do, which I hope you do not do, is I would allow like some computer shop or Geek Squad or somebody to do a final look over, you know what I mean? And just tell them exactly what's happening, you know? And listen, it could also be your internet too. I don't know how your internet situation is there. I'm not there. I can't see the computer. I can't see all the shit and your modem. I can't see all of this. So it could even be your internet too. So don't overlook that part either. We got Mountain Woman in the building. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat as well. We are rolling our way down real quick. We got Tolga, my man, as well as Motobomb. Good morning to you guys. Hopefully you're all enjoying your morning. Appreciate you guys for having me on over there at the Coffee Crew, by the way. Thank you very much for that. It's always great to hang out with you guys. We are seeing if we are, we're trying to catch up over here. We got Todd J in the building as well. Good morning to you, kind sir. Great to see you. Always appreciate your positivity. We got Erica saying, thank you for the advice from my dad with his leg, Mike Ball. I will definitely reach out to you. That's awesome to hear. I've got my Instagram, like I said in the beginning of the show. Make sure you follow me over there. That's where you can get in touch with me on a personal level. And we also have a Discord server for anybody that's coming in right now. This is a great way that all of us stick together. It's a big community, man. So it's awesome. All right. Let's see here. Let's see who else I'm missing. If I'm missing any. No, looks like we're pretty much caught up. Perfect. All right. Oh, and we got Steve Posey, my man. Great to see you in the chat. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to start off this morning with Hakeem Jeffries, House Dems on cuts to SNAP benefits. This is what we're going to start on this morning, but let me go ahead and read you the list of exactly what we're presenting today, because what I put on the title is not necessarily all encompassing of what we're going to be talking about this morning. It'd be obviously too long of a title for us to do it. So we've got Hakeem Jeffries that's going to speak. Of course, it's really hard listening to these leftist motherfuckers just spew lies and shit. It's really hard to listen, but we will listen to a little bit of that. Then we have Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu orders strikes in Gaza, and we have actually the death count on that. It's pretty radical right now. Not citizens voting, over 1,000 registered to vote in Ohio, says Secretary of State. This is very, very interesting. After let's see, Secretary of State Frank LaRose's office launched an investigation that found over 1,000 non-citizens who, quote, appear to have registered to vote unlawfully in Ohio. This news comes from an announcement made by LaRose's office on Tuesday. Wow. So we have that update for you guys from yesterday, as well as Hegseth meets with Japanese defense minister in Tokyo. As you guys know, Trump and his cabinet are on this Asia tour. Was not very surprised to hear that, Hegseth was speaking over there in Tokyo. Then we have Trump lands in South Korea, will meet China's Xi Jinping. That's their president or whatever the case is. I think they call him president over there, right? And then we have the updated death count from the recent Gaza strikes overnight. The report is, as of 4 hours ago, 80 plus were killed in these IDF strikes in Gaza, and the ceasefire now has resumed. So at least you guys know where that is standing at the moment. And then 3 hours ago, we have an update regarding Hurricane Melissa makes landfall in Cuba as Category 3 storm. Definitely brutal. And then we have one of our last, well, actually not the last, one of the last stories is President Trump speaks to media en route to South Korea. That was just 2 hours ago aboard Air Force One. And then we have a update from the Israeli government briefing after they had 80 plus killed in IDF strikes. So that is our lineup. And let's go ahead and start off with now this first story here with the Democrats.
Yeah. So we're almost about 3 days out from where the original Democratic CR was set to expire. Can we expect to see a new Democratic CR with a new date? And
see, this is after they had spoke, I think, yesterday. And then now these are reporters asking questions, blah, blah, blah. So we're not watching the entirety of their speech from this. We're just looking at a couple of questions.
Any other potential policy changes?
But we'll continue to be in conversation with our
They need to fix their fucking audio over there, bro. Get it together.
Senate Democratic colleagues. We've all held firm to the proposition
There.
that we want to
Thank
reopen
you.
the government. We want to negotiate a bipartisan spending agreement. That's our position, and we've maintained it from the very beginning. The reason why we're in this shutdown, day 28, is that Donald Trump and Republicans continue to maintain a my way or the highway approach, and the American people know it, which is why the American people have turned against Donald Trump.
Man, that's awesome. Hardwire says, tomorrow's my birthday. Thinking about doing a chill stream for my birthday just for funsies. Absolutely. I say do it, bro. I would love to be able to show up for that.
And Republicans, because their policies aren't working. They've gone too far in area after area after area and have not made life better for the American people. So we'll continue to be in dialogue with our Senate Democratic colleagues, but publicly, our position has been the same as our private position, which is we'll sit down anytime, any place with anyone on the other side of the aisle, either here at the Capitol or go back to the White House, where we've repeatedly made clear to President Trump, reconvene the legislative leaders, convene the appropriators, do what leaders do in moments like this.
What's up, Crystal? Good morning. Great to see you in the chat.
As opposed to being missing in action now for 28 days while finding $40 billion to bail out a right-wing wannabe dictator in Argentina and destroying the historic parts of the White House in real time so that he can construct a ballroom where he will be celebrated like a wannabe king. This is all outrageous stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
And the American people see it
Like a
unfolding.
wannabe king. Oh, my. I don't know why this rhetoric is so appealing to the left and their own people. I just don't get it.
Before their very eyes. And they know.
If I were on their team, I'd be like, dude, serious? Come on, man. You got to stop clinging to weird shit.
That Donald Trump and Republicans have not been serious about doing what is necessary to enact a spending agreement that actually improves the quality of life of hardworking
That's right, Steve
American
Easy.
taxpayers.
You're looking at them.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Republicans have said that the easiest way to fund SNAP is to reopen the government. And you say that Democrats want to reopen the government. Why not call on your Senate colleagues, your Senate Democratic colleagues, to reopen the government and alleviate all the impacts of the shutdown, and then immediately dive headfirst into solving this healthcare crisis? All hands on deck.
As has been the case, and as Angie Craig
Man, these audio engineers over here, they're just all DEI hires. I can't stand it.
and Rosa DeLauro, who I'll yield to momentarily, have repeatedly said, the funds have already been allocated by the Congress in a bipartisan way to allow a continuation of SNAP benefits through November 1st, deep into the month of November, and there's additional funds that are available to be reallocated so that not a single person in this country goes hungry. And if that happens beginning on November 1st, it's because Donald Trump and Republicans want.
I think the 13th vote happened on Saturday. No, Friday. Friday, obviously not Saturday. I think it was Friday that they did the third. No, I'm sorry. It was Monday. My bad. Monday was the 13th time that the Democrats have voted against it
The American
to reopen the government.
people to go hungry. And that's the problem that we confront.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. And that's exactly what the lawsuit that was filed across this country by, 23 states, District of Columbia, others, says that they have an absolute legal responsibility to use the contingency fund to fund SNAP, that we have never seen a lapse in funding of SNAP during a government shutdown previously. And they also have the authority.
What's up, Rob's neighbor? Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far.
Secretary Brooke Rollins to move additional money over to make sure that not a single child in this country goes hungry. They are ignoring their legal responsibility. They are ignoring the moral clarity that we have, that there is no way we should be allowing seniors and veterans and children to go hungry in this country.
Oh my God, this lady. What appeal to emotion crap is this?
Emotional, damn it!
Oh my goodness. They're acting like I you know what? I'm just gonna shut up. Let's just get this over with.
Country. And where are they? The president is in Japan trying to get people to buy foreign cars. Last week, he was trying to
No. So he's bringing business. So how much money have you raised for our country? How much money have you told these companies to invest in our economy? None, right? Okay, so You're going to be mad because Trump just went to Japan and secured another $550 billion. Really? Really? That's what you're going to bitch about on the left, bro? This is insanely retarded.
Stupid.
Get people to buy Argentine beef. This is not an America First
Oh my God,
administration.
this woman.
These are not America First policies on behalf of this administration. And what people really care about in Minnesota and across this country is what's happening in their own budgets. And what's happening in their own budgets is that this president's trade wars, attacks on family farmers by decimating the farm economy, is causing farm bankruptcies to dramatically increase across our country. And look, it's a slap in the face to family farmers. Without those farmers, we will not have food security in this country. And this administration needs to step up and do the right.
What's up, Agrillapis? Man, I can't stand these bitches. And I mean bitches meaning not women. I mean the left. You know what I mean?
right thing.
By the way, supplemental nutrition assistance program.
Look at this. Look at what. Every time I see this lady, I laugh. It's too fucking funny.
Bruh.
Like, no fucking way, bro. It's just brutal.
You know, we just don't sit here and say, okay, we're going to pass this law today, and Democrats and Republicans are going to agree to that, and the president signs it into law.
This cope is insane.
And then we say, oh, hey, did we really mean to do that? And just to ignore that, which is what is happening. It is in the law. And they are violating the law because they don't have the political will to do it. Because, you know why? Because what
No, you're bullshitting right now.
Stop the cap.
they want to do is, as Secretary Rollins did this afternoon on TV, is to say that the Democrats are responsible for
Yes. Correct.
taking food out of the mouths of
Correct. Yes, you did it to your own people. Correct. You're the one voting
children or some
for the shutdown, for you not to get funded, for your SNAP not to get funded. Yes, the left is doing that to you actively. It's happening to you from your own fucking people. Feels bad, doesn't it?
other, quite honestly, cockamamie excuse that she might have for not following what the law of the land is. But it is, quite frankly, starting with January, there's been an unbelievable violation of the Constitution and the laws of this nation with this administration. But you know, let's stand our ground and let the people know that the money is there. They need to waive.
The money is there? What money, bro?
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit?
You mean the money that you would have to print, right? You know, that's the money you're talking about. The endless money printing that you guys do? Yeah. That's the money's there. No, we just hit $38 trillion in debt, lady. Our money is about to fucking go into a reset. By legal terms, our shit has fucking gone down below where a banana republic would fucking normally be, where they're going, yep, they got caused by hyperinflation. We're fucking right there, yo. We're right there. This is why I'm hedging my bets with gold and silver. I swear to God. All I have to do is watch this shit and be like, dude, I have some money in the bank. Why would I allow that to fucking turn into zero when I could save it and not only save my money, but actually make money doing it too? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, what terrible time for our economy, for real.
Their magic wand.
Oh my God, why are you so loud, bitch? Ah, my bad, everybody.
And the money will go out, and in short order, we'll be able to get 42 million people fed in the way that the food stamp program has done from its outset.
Let me thank Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro and Congresswoman Angie Craig for their continued leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
This question is for any representatives, but now it'll be for you, Leader Jeffries. Mike Johnson and some of his Republican colleagues have pointed out the pain of Americans losing access to nutritional assistance programs, including this press conference today. Although they do blame Democrats for funding healthcare for who they call illegal aliens, do you think there's going to be any
What's up, Miss Lotus? Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
flexibility for them in meeting with Democrats to address this issue, given they've talked about it?
The Republicans passed their one big ugly bill in July.
Yes, and that's exactly why you're doing this right now, because they, by Congress, on a legal point, they passed a funding bill of $1.5 trillion. It was fucking horrendous for our economy, and it absolutely is a terrible funding bill. It is, absolutely. But now the Democrats want their revenge of also getting $1.5 trillion. That's why their demand is for $1.5 trillion of funding into their shit, okay? That's the fucking problem here, okay? And if they stalemate long enough and if they think that the Republicans are going to cave in to their demands, well, ultimately at the end of the day, if they got it, they got it, right? So whether you passed it by Congress or shutting the fucking government down, and that's their game plan right now, which is really unfortunate because there's going to be a lot of fucking people that get affected by this.
And that bill hurts everyday Americans to reward their billionaire donors. And in that bill, they enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing all across the country, including in Louisiana, because of what Mike Johnson and Republicans did in that one big ugly bill. And at the same time, they cut SNAP benefits by $186 billion. Donald Trump and Republicans literally ripped food from the mouths of hungry children, seniors, families, and veterans in order.
See the emotional appeal here? Just nonstop appealing to emotions here. That's what they're trying to do.
To reward their billionaire donors. That's what the one big ugly bill was all about. And so at this moment in time, these Republicans have zero credibility as it relates to the issues connected to health care and SNAP. Because the American people have already seen what Republican policies look like. And that's ripping health care away from millions of Americans and doing the same thing.
No freaking kidding, Ray. That is super funny. Good to see you in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day morning so far. I'm done listening to these fucking goofballs. No need for more of the cope session. We have way too big of a fucking news morning for us to get stuck on this. We're going to move into Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu orders strikes in Gaza. And that originated, I believe, on Monday. I believe that's when that happened, our time. And nonetheless, I think it was ordered. No, it was ordered yesterday. And then we have the actual aftermath, which is 80 plus dead from their strikes. And then the ceasefire resumes. So they're back into a ceasefire right now. That's the Israeli update already. I'm giving you that boiled down to, version. But we will see that in a few more stories. But first, we're going to see what this is being said.
Here to Live Now from Fox. As promised before we went to that 2-minute commercial break, said we're going to be diving into some of those headlines in the Middle East. Putting this up on your screen. This is from Fox News saying breaking Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu orders immediate and powerful strikes in the Gaza Strip. And so we do know that the Prime Minister made that announcement today in retaliation for what Israeli officials say was a Hamas attack on Israeli forces in the city of Rafah. Of course, we know this is as the deal to end the war in Gaza is one of President Trump's biggest diplomatic achievements this turn. We do want to now bring into the conversation Ben Cohen with the Foundation of Defense of Democracies. Ben, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. Can you first of all talk about the incident that the Israeli government is now describing as the reasoning behind ordering these new strikes?
Yes, well, that incident took place today in Rafah, right in the south of the...
Okay, just so you guys know, Rafah is southern Israel. Southern Gaza. I'm sorry, I should have said it that way. Southern Gaza. Apparently there was a shooting of some sort where they were shooting at Israeli soldiers across their security line, the yellow line where they're supposed to be at right now. And hence why there was such a strike back on this. And then the ceasefire, going into effect again.
Gaza Strip. And a terrorist cell launched an attack there on Israeli troops in the vicinity, using small arms fire and an anti-tank missile.
Oh, okay. And they used an anti-tank missile because I had heard it was only firearms, just meaning like an actual gun. So...
And that quickly led to Israel responding and to Prime Minister Netanyahu's statement that you have here on the screen that Israel was going to respond with immediate and powerful strikes in the Gaza Strip.
That is terrible to deal with, Ray. Hopefully you get that figured out sooner rather than later, right? Shit.
And there have been strikes there this evening in Gaza City, in Deir al-Balah.
Hit the like button, everybody.
And in Rafah as well. And I think that what this shows is that not only is Hamas still a force in Gaza, but this idea that's contained within the ceasefire agreement that it's going to surrender its weapons and surrender power looks more and more untenable every time an incident like this happens.
And so there really is a lot to dive into as we're taking a live vantage point there over the Gaza skyline. Quite dark there on the screen, but still wanted to make sure we're showing folks what it looks like now at this hour.
And we don't need any more explanation from that. We're going to pretty much get right into, because we already have the end result of this whole thing now that you know why it happened. We're going to see the retaliatory acts from Israel and then sending it back to a ceasefire here in a few. We have another story, though. Non-citizens voting. Over 1,000 registered to vote in Ohio, says Secretary of State. This is going to be definitely very interesting. But let's get the money part over first.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Fantastic, bro. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up for you guys so that we can figure this out together, see what the facts of the case is.
And welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for continuing to join us as we bring you the top stories of the day, live feeds, and, of course, when breaking news happens, you know we have you covered. All right, one of the big stories, including this was for a time the biggest story on FoxNews.com headlines today after an investigation by Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose has uncovered over 1,000 non-citizens who appear to have registered to vote unlawfully in Ohio. And LaRose says he has referred all 1,084 cases to the Department of Justice, noting that 167 of the individuals appear to have cast a ballot in a federal election since 2018. So let's bring in the Secretary of State to help.
Okay, so we're actually going to hear from the Secretary of State. That's fantastic. I was really hoping if we were going to have anybody come onto this program, it wasn't going to be some analyst. I wanted to hear it from this motherfucker. Great. This is awesome.
Break it all down here for us. This is Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose. Great to have you on, sir. And
what's up, Brennan? Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day as well.
Just let us know how you were able to uncover this and
what's
really
up, brother?
What led up to these findings.
Shit. We got Pitbull in the chat.
Seriously in Ohio. That's why when I became Secretary of State a few years ago, we created an investigative division. The law says in Ohio that it's the Secretary of State's responsibility to investigate fraud or irregularity. I looked at the office and realized there were no investigators. Really, I don't think any of my predecessors, had full-time investigators. So we brought in folks with a law enforcement background. We built an investigative unit and people that could do the work of getting a subpoena for documents, putting a witness under oath, really conducting a professional law enforcement style investigation. That capacity didn't exist prior to my administration. As a result of that work, we have found, and as you can see, over 1,000 cases that have already been, over the last several years, referred to county prosecutors or in some cases to our state attorney general. Now, listen, all of these folks are busy. Maybe they've got good reasons for not taking up these cases, but these are all what I would call cold cases. They've been sitting there waiting. All the evidence is ready to look at. And so I decided, let's take this same evidence, and when it occurred in an even-numbered year, which are, of course, those federal elections, let's refer it to the DOJ. Let's see if they want to take these cases up. Again, I have this belief that when a law is not enforced, it's not a law. It's just a suggestion. And we know, of course, that there should be...
AU, no kidding. Those are the ones that they can only prove, essentially, right? They can only prove these 1,000, but man, I'm sure the number is outrageous. I'm sure it is like that for a lot of different states, bro.
Consequences for those who violate election laws. And so by referring these to the federal DOJ, my hope is that they decide to prosecute these cases if the case merits that. And again, that's the decision they make as prosecutors.
Yeah, it's so intriguing because when we take a look at, I mean, the numbers are startling when you have that many. And when you think about just how, when they say, you know, every vote counts, and if it's a tight race in a special, in a different county or anything that you're really thinking about, it could sway it.
Yeah, Mike, let's even flip the argument a little bit. You'll hear from the left that voter fraud is so rare, why even bother with it? I've often made the case that, you know, carjackings are pretty rare in my neighborhood, but when they occur, I certainly hope the bad guy faces...
That's a really good point there, Frank.
Justice for that, because they really can have big consequences. We have every year in Ohio elections that come down to a single vote. In fact, this is usually something we do a press release every December sharing how many elections that year came down to a single vote or even a coin flip in those instances where it's a dead tie. Now, listen, we're not talking about U.S. Senate races and governor's races in most cases, but we're talking about things like a school board race, a city council race. Heck, we've had a couple mayor's races during my time as Secretary of State that had to come down to a coin flip. So one fraudulent vote is one too many. There's also the deterrent effect, right? Again, it's kind of like jaywalking. Most of us don't know anybody that's ever been prosecuted for jaywalking, and so people start to think, well, maybe it's not that big of a deal. Well, if people start to realize that if you mess around, you'll find out, right? People will realize...
Wow, Steve Posey, I didn't know she rides a motorcycle. Really? That's fucking badass.
Is that if you commit election fraud in the state of Ohio, you will face consequences for that. We've got nearly 8 million registered voters in our state, and when we have our big statewide elections,
What's up, brother SNS? Good morning to you. Great to see you.
there are routinely turnouts in the multiples of millions. And so, yeah, these are small numbers that we're talking about. But this is about keeping voter fraud rare, which I would argue voter fraud is rare in Ohio. And we're going to keep it rare by taking it seriously and making sure that when someone does break the law, that they face justice for doing so.
Yeah, and that's why you're sending them to DOJ so that they could properly take a look here at these. And Frank, what needs to happen so it doesn't even have to be found, where it could be stopped before they even tried to register or they tried to vote? What needs to happen for that to really take place when we talk about election security?
Well, your timing is good, Mike, because I was in our state Senate today testifying on this very matter. Now, listen, we have a good system of voter list maintenance in Ohio. That's what I would say that really all election officials should focus on, maintaining accurate voter rolls. That means taking the dead.
Well, here's also just a thing. Just voter ID, please. If everyone just got on board on that, that would be fucking awesome. I don't know why anybody in the world would ever stick up for not having a voter ID situation. It's insane. Insane to me. Anyways, Hegseth meets with Japanese defense minister in Tokyo. We're going to go ahead and just see a little bit of what he's talking about here. We don't want to listen to the entire thing because he also does ramble on oftentimes. So we don't need to hear that. We have a lot of stuff that we need to talk about with South Korea this morning, as well as the update from Israel, an update from Hurricane Melissa affecting Cuba this morning, and then Trump and his takes on all of what's happening since he has left South Korea. He actually speaks to Air Force One, blah, blah, blah. So we need to hear all of this updates. We got to run through this shit.
第3に日米を中核とする多国間協力です。
Third, multilateral cooperation.
Real quick, we got Tiffany in the building. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat. Happy Wednesday, hump day morning. Great to see you.
With Japan and the U.S. at its center.
豪州、韓国、フィリピンをはじめとするパートナー国との情報共有や運用面を含む協力をさらに進展させてまいります。
I really don't need to hear him speak. I really want to hear Pete speak here.
Back in Tokyo for the second time this year, demonstrating how important the United States-Japan alliance is.
ではまず、大臣ご着任おめでとうございます。この新しい役割、非常に重要な立場であります。そして昨日時間を一緒に過ごすことができ、とても嬉しく思っております。
Yeah, isn't it amazing? They'd rather rob motherfuckers and steal from businesses rather than just get a job. Isn't it crazy?
日米同盟がいかに重要であるかという象徴でもあると考えています。で、今年は東京を2度訪問することができ、私もとても嬉しく思っています。
As the minister and I discussed.
Real quick before he says it, we got 38 likes and 35 in the chat. You guys win today. W's in the chat for you guys, man.
Today, the security situation around Japan and in the region remains, as he said, and we agree, severe. The threats we face are real and they are urgent. China's unprecedented military buildup and its aggressive military actions speak for themselves. That's why President Trump's peace through strength agenda is so important.
Okay, we'll fast forward this.
Lethal.
Okay, real quick. We got Aaron Olinger in the chat over there on the Facebook side of things. He says fighting broke out in Rio overnight, government forces versus cartel. And he's talking about down there in Brazil. News told everyone to shelter in place. Wow, that's fucking crazy. I'm definitely going to have to look into that. That's radical. Appreciate the update on that, Aaron. Great to see you in the chat.
That are ready to deter war and, if necessary, fight to win. There's no way to replace hard power. And to that end, I was glad to see, alongside President Trump, Prime Minister Takaichi, the commitment to increase Japan's defense spending, which is wonderful. It's an important step forward, and one that we hope would be implemented and believe will be as soon as possible.
日米同盟をさらに強化するには、より力強い殺傷力、信頼を受ける部隊を維持、強化し、戦争を抑止し、命あれば戦い、勝利する準備が必須であります。これを可能にするには、ハードパワー、これが必要です。この点について先日、高市
I just want to see if there's any last thing that we're going to get here. I think they're just talking about their alliance, really.
Strength we will achieve. As a result, through our shared strength, we'll deter threats. Through strength, we will achieve peace. And to increase our strength, we're going to invest now and invest quickly while we still have time. We're going to act with urgency, and we must act with speed.
Okay, so, all right. Sounds good, Pete Hegseth. Let's go ahead and move on. Trump lands in South Korea, will meet China's Xi Jinping over there. And I think I may have said earlier that Trump has already left South Korea. I didn't mean that. I meant to say that he was in Air Force One, specifically doing an interview, but he's in South Korea. He hasn't left. I don't know why I said that, but I'll go ahead and correct that on the spot right now. All right, here we go.
Okay, we do expect President Trump will hold one more event late tonight here in the States. That's because it's daylight out in South Korea. That's where the president just landed moments ago, meeting with the South Korean president. We saw also the fighter escorts that were leading Trump to...
And the reason why we're presenting this now is you guys do have to know that this has happened 10 hours ago. This was, during their daytime and our nighttime, essentially.
Jeonju.
It was like midnight when he landed for us.
Korea. Important to note, by the way, Jeonju, hours away from Seoul and even further away from the North Korean border than Seoul is. Lots to discuss about Trump's swing through Asia. As I mentioned before the break, he is now stopped in 3 countries.
What's up, Josephus? Great to see you in the chat. Yes, see, the video the picture they're showing right here, they have a badass fucking video someone recorded in Air Force One of these fighter jets coming alongside alongside Air Force One, and escorting them into their country, which is awesome. Pretty badass.
It began with Malaysia, Japan, now wrapping up in South Korea. He will be meeting with South Korean leaders. He'll also meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping. There is still a question as to whether or not he will meet with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Let's discuss everything we've seen so far throughout this Asia trip with retired Marine intelligence officer, national security analyst.
Oh, we haven't seen Hal Kemper in a minute.
Strap podcast, Hal Kemper. Hal, looking ahead, what indicators are going to tell us whether or not Trump's swing through Asia was a success or not?
Well, Austin, I think some of the indicators are already there.
Already getting investments. Yeah, that's already any type of trade deal that is made, which has been, and then you have, a lot of these rare earth mineral deals as well, financial investments,
and a number of agreements. I thought what just came out of Japan was rather remarkable. Obviously a lot of shared interest, but $500 billion, or almost $500 billion in investments going into the U.S. It's a huge amount of money.
I didn't know that, Steve Posey, but that would make sense.
But also he kicked off the whole thing with that essentially peace agreement, if you will, between Thailand and Cambodia on that border dispute issue. And then he signed agreements with basically reciprocal trade agreements with Thailand and Cambodia as well. He signed a big trade agreement with Malaysia. He's just been kind of...
Right, and Malaysia was the very first location that he stopped on this Asia trip. He stopped at Malaysia, and then Tokyo, Japan, and then South Korea to meet Xi Jinping. That's China's president.
Bringing right through. Now he's doing Japan, and he's also got an agreement out there with Vietnam as well. And,
wow.
And now he's...
I didn't know that.
Heading off to Korea. Now, South Korea could be the toughest one.
Oh, they just muted him.
There's a proposal out there for
we go.
$350 billion in direct investment from South Korea into the U.S. And the South...
Wow. So there's going to be another additional investment from a different country, meaning South Korea, for $350 billion. What?
The toughest one.
I need to hear that again.
There's a proposal out there for $350 billion in direct investment from South Korea into the U.S.
Wow. So there's a proposal going on right now. We got Chatting with Stacks in the building. Shout out to my man. Great to see you in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day so far. And yes, My man Joseph, our favorite snow Mexican out there in Canada, on the Facebook side saying, good morning, Mr. Ball, Lucy, breakfast crew, Bob, and can't forget the haters, stop the cat.
Stop the cap.
Shit.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! And the South
Great to
Koreans
see you, bro.
are having basic financial structural issues moving that much money to the U.S. to do that type of investment. They're very, very concerned they could significantly destabilize their internal financial system within South Korea. So there's going to be a lot of discussion on that. They may hit an agreement, but there may be some interesting ways that they have to do this financially in order to prevent a major financial disruption in the South Korean markets.
So let's talk about China for a moment. That's going to be one of the main facets of this South Korean leg of the trip that we're going to be following is Trump's meeting with Xi Jinping.
I know he meant to say Mikey boy there, but hey, yeah, I appreciate that.
Earlier this week, Hal, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that 100% tariffs on Chinese goods are effectively off the table. What are we going to be listening for during Trump's meeting with Xi?
I think we're going to listen for, first off,
What's up, Frederick Frame, my man? Great to see you in the building. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning.
Rare earths issue is going to be big. That's going to be something we're trying to get them to back down on. I think we're pretty close to that. And we had some rare earth success with Malaysia. A little bit different story, but we had some success there. So I think we're going to see that.
Well, we don't need to speculate because we have a lot of updates going on that's happening now. Anyways, we gotta move on. Now that you guys know that that's happened and what the predictions are, what the proposals are, another $350 billion from South Korea, which is a totally different thing regarding trade and has nothing to do with the meeting of Xi Jinping. This is a pretty radical. Anytime Trump does these tours, he just collects fucking money. He just fucking goes to their country and just goes, yep, give me your money and I'm going to take it. And it's pretty incredible to watch, actually. He does a phenomenal job in that regard. All right, so the latest report as of 4 hours ago is 80 plus killed in IDF strikes in Gaza, but the ceasefire has now resumed after they have retaliated after being attacked or across from the line that the Israelis are holding behind the yellow line, a part of the agreement. That's where they're at right now. And so, anyways, here we go.
We want to get to some breaking news from overnight in terms of the ceasefire in Gaza, as Israel's military does say that the ceasefire is back
What's up,
on
brother GEG?
after
Good
several
morning.
overnight strikes. And I do want to bring to you some of these images that we were able to gather from overnight. Take a look at this. Can't really confirm exactly what's happening in the background, but you can see this huge plume of smoke.
Look at that huge fucking dude. That is pretty radical. I got to back that up. They caught that live on the live cam, looking into basically where Rafah is down here.
Really confirm exactly what's happening in the background, but you can see this huge plume of smoke all of a sudden appear. The Associated Press says that Israel's military on Wednesday saying the ceasefire was back on in Gaza after it carried out.
They claim that Steve Easy, to answer your question, did they actually attack this time though? That's what they claim. I wish I could have a better way of validating these kind of things. I wish. Each side are going to say this side violated and this side violated this and blah, blah, blah. And that's going to happen a lot. I wish there was a way to have like this third party entity that could really legitimately, show that and prove that. But unfortunately, you know how it goes.
Heavy airstrikes across the Palestinian territory that killed at least 81 people, including women and children, according to local hospitals. The strikes, the deadliest since the ceasefire was enacted on October 10th, marked the most serious challenge to the tenuous truce to date. I also want to bring to you a social media post courtesy of the Israel Defense Forces. They say this in accordance with the directive of the political echelon and following a series of strikes in which dozens of terror targets and terrorists were struck, the IDF has begun the renewed enforcement of the ceasefire in response to Hamas's violations. As part of the strikes, the IDF and ISA struck 30 terrorists holding command positions within the terrorist organizations operating in Gaza. The IDF will continue to uphold the ceasefire agreement and will respond firmly to any violation of it. I want to bring us out also to the live images that we have in Gaza.
Real quick before she gets into it, we'll see you on the flip side, brother SNS. Always appreciate you. And we got Kel in Canada always appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us as well. Good morning and happy hump day.
The AP goes on to say this. Israeli Prime
SST,
Minister
my
Benjamin
man.
Netanyahu said he had ordered the
morning.
military to conduct, quote, powerful strikes over Gaza after accusing Hamas of violating the ceasefire. Hamas said in response that it would delay handing over the body of another hostage. U.S. President Trump currently on his trip to Asia defending the strikes, saying Israel was justified in carrying them out after what he said was an incident in which Hamas killed an Israeli soldier during an exchange of
They actually did kill a soldier off of this?
gunfire in Rafah, the southernmost city in Gaza. Hamas denied any involvement in that deadly shooting and in turn accused Israel of violating the ceasefire deal. I want to take us back out.
Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, okay. I figured as much.
Out again to those images that we were able to gather earlier on today, where you can see just out there in the background that huge plume of smoke that all of a sudden appears. And this is
Yeah, I think Agrillipus is right on that. It looks like two strikes, one coming in from one side, one coming in from the other, boom, boom.
is in Gaza. Going back to some more of this reporting, the director of Shifa Hospital in Gaza City said the death toll was likely to rise further as many of the 45 who were being treated at the hospital, including 20 children, were in critical condition.
Damn. 20 children got affected by this shit.
The director said
That fucking shit breaks my heart.
the hospital received 21 bodies, including 7 women and 6 children. That's on top of the at least 60 people who were reported killed earlier. First, the Al-Aqsa Hospital in Gaza Central City reported at least 10 bodies, and we do have actually, we just lost that live image of that hospital, so let's stay with this video again from overnight. But the Al-Aqsa Hospital saying that at least 10 bodies they received, among 3 of them were women and 6 children. Their bodies reached the hospital overnight after 2 Israeli airstrikes there, and in southern Gaza, the Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis.
So it was 2 airstrikes confirmed right there, those 2 airstrikes.
Said it received 20 bodies after 5 Israeli strikes in the area, in which 13 were children and 2 were women. We do, in fact, have a live image out of Nasser Hospital there in Khan Yunis. Now, elsewhere in central Gaza.
But I'm sure there was more locations. I don't know if there was only 2 strikes only. It's hard to imagine Israel coming in and only dusting out one location.
The Al-Ada Hospital said it received 30 bodies, including 14 children. According to officials from the 4 Gaza hospital who spoke to the Associated Press, the number of children killed in the strikes overnight has reached 39. Prime Minister Netanyahu's order to launch strikes came after an Israeli official said its forces were fired upon in southern Gaza and after Hamas handed over body parts on Monday that Israel said were the partial remains of a hostage recovered earlier in the war.
Wow.
The Israeli Prime Minister called the return of these body parts a, quote, clear violation of the ceasefire agreement, which requires Hamas to return the remaining hostages in Gaza as soon as possible.
Yeah, but they know the deal, bro. That they're fucking lost in the sauce, bro. Good luck fucking finding them. That's what's crazy about this whole thing. Even in the proposed plan, in the proposal that everyone agreed to, is that there was an understanding, hey, there might be some bodies here that of the hostages that we're not going to be able to locate. You know what I mean? It's going to be very difficult, and we will do everything in our power to do it. And that's exactly what it says in the fucking deal. And the Israeli side knows this. The United States knows this. So, yes, there is going to be a discrepancy of bodies. Unfortunately, there is going to be. It's just a harsh reality of this shit, But yeah, I 100% agree with you, Bob. They're not going to. There's a discrepancy of 10 bodies, I believe, in total. There was 29, but they've recovered 19, and they're missing 10. So sounds about right. I'm surprised they even had the 19 that they were tracking. Anyways, we're going to move into Hurricane Melissa real quick. Makes landfall over there in Cuba as we follow this Category 3 storm here. Let's go ahead and bring this up and check this out.
Turning now to another story that we have been following very closely as I bring you out to this live image that we have at our XRAD weather system, and we're talking the latest.
What's up, Zip Tie? Great to see you in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day so far.
It is when it comes to Hurricane Melissa making landfall yesterday in Jamaica before descending upon Cuba. Also, some of this reporting here that I want to bring up in just a moment. But first, a couple of looks at these social media posts that we have here as we continue to track Hurricane Melissa. So this first one is courtesy of Fox Weather, and we'll check in with them in just a few moments for the latest on their forecast. But they say this.
This is extremely sad. I mean, it's like Jamaica, for instance. Jamaica is going to definitely be doing like a rebuilding process after this whole ordeal, which it's extremely sad. I mean, they're just dusted.
Destructive Hurricane Melissa made its second landfall early Wednesday morning, this time blasting portions of eastern Cuba with damaging winds and flooding rain just hours after devastating Jamaica as one of the most powerful hurricanes on record. Taking us back out live to that image that we have of our XRAD weather system, the Associated Press saying this: Hurricane Melissa making landfall in eastern Cuba near this early Wednesday as a Category 3 storm after pummeling Jamaica as one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes on record, and that is according to the U.S. National Hurricane Center. Hundreds of thousands of people had been evacuated to shelters in Cuba, and a hurricane warning was in effect for the Cuban provinces of Granma, Santiago de Cuba, Guantanamo, Holguin, and Las Tunas, as well as the southeastern and central Bahamas.
Man, all of this area is just so dusted, bro. It's just misery right here. This is a nightmare. Total nightmare situation.
Early Wednesday, Melissa had topped sustained winds of 115 miles per hour and was moving northeast at 12 miles per hour, according to the National Hurricane Center, which is based in Miami. The hurricane was centered 60 miles west of Guantanamo, Cuba, and 230 miles south of the central Bahamas. The agency warned residents of Cuba to remain sheltered and that preparations for the storm in the Bahamas, quote, should be rushed into completion. Melissa was forecast to weaken as it crosses Cuba through the morning.
Well, I'm sure there has been. I was watching the live cameras, which were pretty intense. It was really bad, actually. I was watching where it was like where I could see 8 different live views at the same time. And yeah, it was pretty bad. But I'm sure there's people that are going to be coming out here very soon, if it hasn't already, of people posting that, usually where you see the worst of the worst is when the public posts it on social media. That's when the images get fucking like where people realize, oh shit, it affected it to this degree. Yeah, you're going to see that soon. And if it's not already out there, it could
hurricane
be.
As it moves across the southeastern or central Bahamas later Wednesday. That's today. The storm is then expected to make its way late Thursday near or to the west of Bermuda, where hurricane watch is in effect. The continuing intense rain could cause life-threatening flooding with numerous...
Real quick, make sure you guys hit the like button. You guys don't have to like it for the craziness that's happening around the world, but you can like it for me and my takes on what we do here. Very much appreciate your laborious work on hitting that like button. Thank you guys for that.
Landslides, and that's according to U.S. forecasters. And again, so it did pummel Jamaica, now making its way through Cuba. Now, when it made its landfall in Jamaica, it was a Category 5 hurricane, so that is the strongest that a hurricane could even be categorized, making landfall as a Category 3 when it hit.
Real quick, Moto Bomb coming in saying, good to see everybody this morning. I've been listening, just commuting to work. Blessings to all. Yes, bro. Make sure you ride safe. We always appreciate you, my man. Just let us know. Are you already at work? Or if you're not, don't worry. You don't need to comment. I know you're riding your motorcycle and shit, so you don't need to do that. But great to see you in the chat,
Cuba.
by the way.
Now, when it struck Jamaica, it did have record-tying winds of 185 miles per hour. That was on Tuesday at 1 p.m. when it made landfall. It was a beast that stood out as...
Did you hear that? Let me back that up. We got to hear that shit again.
When it struck Jamaica, it did have record-tying winds of 185 miles per hour.
185 miles per hour the wind was down there in Jamaica when it first made landfall. Holy fucking shit. 185 mile per hour winds. Dusted, bro.
That was on Tuesday at 1 p.m. when it made landfall. It was a beast that stood out as extreme, even in a record number of monster storms spawned over the last decade in a superheated Atlantic Ocean. Melissa somehow shook off at least 3 different meteorological conditions that normally weaken major hurricanes and was still gaining power as it hit. That's according to scientists, who were reportedly a bit amazed by the strength of the hurricane. And while more storms these days...
Gunpowder Nitro, good morning.
They're
Great to see you.
undergoing rapid intensification, gaining 35 mile per hour winds.
Well, that's the worst part is the flooding, Steve. I mean, yes, the winds are crazy, but those mountains, bro, up there in Jamaica and shit like that, dude, the amount of water that is going to be happening right now and during that time, it's just, I can't even imagine the flooding during, like, while it's happening in that moment, the flooding is going to be insane. It'll ruin it.
In over 24 hours.
They're going to be in total rebuild situation.
Melissa did a lot more than that as it achieved what's called extreme rapid intensification, gaining at least 58 miles per hour over 24 hours. Melissa turbocharged about 70 miles per hour during a 24-hour period last week and had an unusual second round of rapid intensification that spun it to 175 miles per hour. That's according to scientists. The Associated Press, who spoke with several of these scientists and meteorologists, as they said that when Melissa came ashore, it tied strength records for Atlantic hurricanes, making landfall both in wind speed and barometric pressure, which is a key measurement that meteorologists use. The pressure measurement tied the deadly 1935 Labor Day storm in Florida, while the 185-mile-per-hour wind speed equaled marks set that year.
Yeah, these guys are all going to feel this. So we'll definitely, when we see images and these news agencies that, go out there and show the devastation, obviously, sadly, we're going to be presenting that, so stick around for those updates. All right, let's go ahead and get into President Trump speaks to media en route to South Korea. So this was en route, not while he was there. So this is interesting. This did just come out 3 hours ago, though. So this is right before he landed over there in South Korea.
Sir, what is China? We're actually making our country safe. Think of it. I'm just saying as I speak to you.
I don't need to hear much of this, and let's hear if they even get the audio right. If they don't, then we'll just skip it.
And now nobody gets.
Oh, dude.
Farmers will be just.
Yeah, I'm not willing to hear that shit. All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna have our update right here from the government for our day 29th of the government shutdown. So here's the update from House Republicans.
And it's of great concern to everyone who's paying attention to all this. You will note that more air traffic controllers and TSA agents and park rangers are about to go without a paycheck. You've got families and children that rely upon SNAP benefits that are going to go hungry here at the end of the week. You've got more critical workers, by the way, including the people who are the stewards of our nuclear defense arsenal, who are forced to stay at home as the government remains closed. The Democrats own every one of these consequences. So we want to point out a couple of important facts this morning for you. It's no coincidence that polling this week confirms that over 70% of the American people believe the Democratic Party is out of touch. And amazingly to us, still every day, they turn their backs on more and more hardworking American families to prolong their pain. And that is exactly what's being felt here. It is incredible to us that they've now voted 14 times between the House and Senate to reject the clean, simple funding bill that would simply reopen the government.
So now it's been 14 fucking times they've turned it down. 13 times on Monday, and now 14 times by fucking Wednesday morning. Holy shit, bro.
14 times they have thumbed their nose at the American people in spite of their pain.
Real quick, we got $4.99 coming in from Glare 1%er saying, money me now. Yes, sir. And I very much appreciate that, kind sir. And just for that,
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
That is a W. Shit.
Bruh.
All right, let's get back into it. And yes, W's.
That they themselves have acknowledged. And as we've explained here, the motivation behind that is very clear. And this is why the polling is indicating what it is. The people know the Democrats are responding to fear. It is their fear of the most radical far-left voices in their party that has made them decide to obey the demands of the far left and to shut down the entire government and thereby inflict all this pain on the people. And almost comically at this point, the Democrats are still out trying to convince you that this is somehow Republicans' fault. But the facts are the facts, and the American people can see that very clearly. They see the truth. We brought you a handy scorecard here so you can, follow.
Oh, shit. We got Kellen Canada throwing in a 5 spot as well. Bro, thank you very much for that. Man, shit. I very much appreciate that. Yes, sir. Sending them out. Thank you guys very much.
The votes. I mean, this
That's how
is
we
very
keep
simple.
the lights on, man.
The votes to pay the troops and federal workers and continue SNAP benefits and get air traffic controllers and Border Patrol agents paid. This is the vote tally. You see the dates here. The House did our work back on September 19th, and we voted. Republicans voted yes. Democrats voted no on all those things. And the Senate has now done it an additional 13 times. These are the votes. No one can say that this is in any way the fault of Republicans. We have a clean, simple bill, and everybody.
Bro, Kel, it all adds up. Don't ever worry about that. I'm appreciative of $1.
Everybody knows it. House and Senate Democrats are openly admitting that this is their shutdown. You have seen the highlight reel of all of them stumbling into admitting that. And yet they're also incoherently claiming that the shutdown is somehow on the fault of the other party. And the people aren't buying it. And that's why the polling continues to show that the approval of Republicans in Congress is rising with each passing day. And the Democrats, at the same time, Democrats in Congress have the lowest approval rating they have ever had since polling began, since recorded polling began on these metrics. And here's just an example yesterday. For example, CNN polling showed yesterday the approval of Republicans in Congress is up 8% since the shutdown began among independents. I mean, that's an important metric because people are paying attention. They understand what's happening and they see who is responsible. It's a really important thing to watch. Ronald Reagan used to remind us that you can always trust the American people, and we do. We trust their intelligence, and we trust their understanding of basic civics. In fact, we trust the American people's understanding of civics far more than the Democrats in this building right now. And a quick reminder of that is the people know that in the House of Representatives, you need a majority vote. You need 218 votes to pass legislation, to pass a clean, continuing resolution to fund the government. That's exactly what we did on September 19th. They also know that in the Senate, you have to have 60 votes to pass substantive legislation. And we've only got 53 Republican seats. That means we need, by the math, at least 7 Democrats to join us to reopen the government. Now, in other words, the Democrats are the only reason that the government is closed. And there is no other way to spin that, to make something else true about it. And of course, the Democrats know all that. We've seen their party leaders, and we've now made their phrases and their comments famous here every morning. Chuck Schumer, with Catherine Clark in the House. They've openly...
By the way, Bob, I knew what you meant by that. I knew that's who you were talking about, that the right is only convincing the right and the left is only convincing the left. And yeah, you are right about that. And I do know and understand exactly what you meant by that. So don't worry about that.
Admitted that they're using the pain of the American people as their leverage. Why? To show to their base that they're fighting. And they're counting on the American people not noticing all this. And that's the very reason why we have to come in here every morning and relay the simple truths. I mean, somebody handed me this as I was walking in here.
Much love and respect to Aaron O'Linger. Always appreciate you, kind sir. Thank you for hanging out with us this morning. And hopefully you enjoy the rest of your hump day. Until tonight for the Diamond Effect. That is our co-host, by the way. One of our co-hosts. And, man, it's just a great-ass time, man. So make sure you guys tune in tonight, 7 p.m. or 7:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And it's going to be a good time, man.
Yesterday, according to the Media Research Center study, by a 2.5 to 1 margin, the Capitol Hill Press Corps has tweeted more about the House calendar during the shutdown than the negative consequences of the Democrat shutdown, than the troubles that we have, the hardships that are being experienced because of the troop pay and WIC funding and flights grounded and SNAP funding. You guys are writing more about the House calendar than the real pain that's being inflicted on the American people, and that's why we have to come in and relay the simple facts. Now, there's a misguided strategy that the Democrats are pursuing right now, and it reveals two important things that can't be glossed over. Number one, it shows they have no cards to play except to try to blame the other team, which is ridiculous, and it shows how little they think of the American people. They had a rally a couple weeks ago. They tried to portray President Trump as a king, and we pointed out, again, the obvious truth. If the president was a king, then the government would be open. He's been trying to do that, and low-income families would be getting the food assistance that they need by Saturday. Republicans cannot wave a wand and reopen the government on our own. We must have a handful of centrist Democrats in the Senate do the right thing. And any Democrat suggesting otherwise knows exactly what they're doing. And they insult the intelligence of the American people. And by the way, every reporter in this room when they do that. Unlike Democrats, Republicans have nothing to twist or spin. We are just simply here relaying the simple facts and the truth. And the American people are responding to that. And that's why the polling indicates that they trust us more than the other side, because we are the ones here telling you the truth. We have nothing to hide. They are trying to obscure the facts. And by the way,
well, no, really, the GOP is in a very good position here because let me explain something, how the GOP works. They love doing absolutely nothing, okay? That's their favorite position to be in, and that's exactly what they get to be in this position, is get to do nothing and look good. So they're kind of getting best of both worlds here, and even on the left, you start to see some of the people on the left that's even turning on, you know, the left already, going like, this is some bullshit. You know what I mean? You're not in a good position. You know, you should do this on a better position rather than doubling down on this. You should have found a better position, you know, kind of thing. But yeah, very, very interesting to observe. But yes, you know, anybody in the GOP, if they can do nothing and look good, oh my God, that's the exact spot that they're looking to be in. You know what I mean? But anyways, we're done with this. Much love and respect to everybody. Thank you all for making these very shows happen. I'm very honored to be able to do these, you know, every morning for you guys. Thank you all for your contributions, whether that be, you know, your comments in the live section, or your likes and engagement, all of that stuff is a humongous thing for us. So I'm very appreciative of everything, your donations, all of it. It all adds up, man. So I'm very appreciative. We're going to send you guys off to Chatting with Stacks. He's live right now. Make sure you guys go show him a little love. You know, let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. And it's always a good time when we get to raid, a friend. All right. So we're out of here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Well, actually, tonight for the Diamond Effect at 7:10 p.m. Central Standard. But we will be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness tomorrow morning. You know what I mean? So, all right. God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on to his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.